In the ever-evolving landscape of Hollywood controversies, where public figures are often thrust into the spotlight not just for their performances but for their off-screen statements and associations, Sydney Sweeney has found herself at the center of a heated debate. The 28-year-old actress, best known for her breakout roles in HBO's Euphoria and the horror film Anyone But You, has been navigating a storm of criticism this year, particularly surrounding her involvement in a promotional campaign for American Eagle Outfitters. What began as a seemingly innocuous jeans advertisement has spiraled into accusations of racial insensitivity, political alignment, and a broader commentary on celebrity accountability. Now, English actor Dan Stevens, celebrated for his nuanced portrayals in films like The Guest and Legion, has entered the fray, amplifying the voices calling out Sweeney's ambiguous response to allegations linking the ad to white supremacist rhetoric. To fully grasp the magnitude of this situation, it's essential to rewind to the origins of the controversy. Earlier this year, American Eagle launched its autumn advertising rollout featuring Sweeney as the face of the brand. The campaign's tagline, "Sydney Sweeney has great jeans," was intended to play on the homophonic pun between jeans and jeans, a clever marketing ploy meant to highlight the actress's affinity for denim while tying into themes of inheritance and personal style. In an accompanying video, Sweeney herself leaned into the concept, stating, "Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue." The line was delivered with a light-hearted charm, accompanied by visuals of Sweeney in various casual outfits, emphasizing comfort and everyday wear. At first glance, it appeared to be a standard celebrity endorsement, fun, relatable, and quintessentially American in its promotion of blue-collar fashion staples. However, the ad quickly drew sharp backlash from social media users, cultural critics, and activists who interpreted the jeans reference as a subtle nod to eugenics and genetic superiority, concepts historically weaponized by white supremacist groups. The term good genes has long been co-opted in far-right online spaces to imply racial purity or inherent superiority based on ancestry, often disguised as innocuous compliments on physical appearance. Critics argued that by associating herself so closely with this language, Sweeney, and by extension American Eagle, was engaging in dog whistling, a term for coded messaging that appeals to extremist elements without alienating mainstream audiences. Online forums lit up with dissections of the ad, pointing out how the emphasis on blue jeans could evoke imagery of Aryan ideals, especially given the brand's predominantly white model casting in the visuals. Adding fuel to the fire was Sweeney's public revelation as a registered Republican voter, a detail unearthed during the promotional cycle for her latest project, the biopic Christie. This film, directed by David Michôd and chronicling the life of pioneering female boxer Christy Martin, marked a significant departure for Sweeney, showcasing her in a more dramatic, transformative role. Yet, the movie's release was overshadowed by its dismal box office performance, one of the lowest domestic openings for a wide release in recent memory, grossing just $1.3 million across 2011 screens, averaging a mere $649 per venue. This underwhelming reception, detailed in industry reports, amplified scrutiny on Sweeney's career trajectory and personal brand. Detractors linked her political leanings to the ad's perceived insensitivity, suggesting that her conservative affiliations made her more amenable to narratives that skirted the edges of controversial ideologies. When pressed on these allegations during a recent GQ interview, Sweeney's response was, to put it mildly, evasive. Rather than issuing a clear defense, insisting the pun was purely linguistic and unrelated to any deeper implications, or a heartfelt apology acknowledging the potential for misinterpretation, she opted for ambiguity. "I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear," she said, effectively sidestepping the question. She further downplayed the uproar by reiterating her love for jeans. "I did a jean ad. The reaction definitely was a surprise, but I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt every day of my life." This non-committal stance left many feeling unsatisfied, interpreting it as a refusal to engage with the gravity of the accusations. In an era where celebrities are expected to model social awareness, her words were seen not as neutral but as tacit endorsement of the status quo. Enter Dan Stevens, whose intervention has elevated the discourse to a new level. The 42-year-old British actor, whose career has spanned Shakespearean theatre to genre-bending television, reshared a pointed social media post that cut straight to the heart of the matter. Sydney Sweeney's GQ interview is a reminder that not having a stance on white supremacy is 100% having a stance on white supremacy. This succinct critique, originally from an anonymous commentator, resonated widely, garnering thousands of shares and sparking threads of discussion across platforms like X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Stevens, known for his thoughtful public persona and advocacy for progressive causes, including environmentalism and mental health awareness, positioned himself as a voice of moral clarity in a sea of celebrity reticence. His decision to amplify the message wasn't isolated. It came amid a growing pile-on, as media outlets dubbed it, with fellow actors, influencers, and even former collaborators weighing in on Sweeney's handling of the fallout. To understand Stevens' involvement, one must consider his own trajectory in Hollywood. Having risen to prominence with Downton Abbey and solidified his status with intense roles in Beauty and the Beast and Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, Stevens has cultivated an image of intellectual depth and ethical grounding. He's spoken openly about the pressures of fame, the importance of diverse representation in film, and the need for artists to confront uncomfortable truths. By resharing the post, Stevens wasn't merely gossiping. He was making a statement about complicity in an industry still grappling with its history of racial insensitivity. His action echoes broader conversations ignited by movements like #OscarsSoWhite and the ongoing push for accountability in advertising, where brands like American Eagle have faced repeated scrutiny for lackluster diversity efforts. The implications of this controversy extend far beyond Sweeney and Stevens. For American Eagle, the campaign, initially praised for its fresh-faced appeal, has become a cautionary tale in marketing. The brand, owned by Urban Outfitters Incorporated, has a history of navigating cultural flashpoints, from past accusations of cultural appropriation in apparel designs to debates over labor practices in its supply chain. Supporters of the ad, including high-profile figures like former President Donald Trump, who tweeted enthusiastic praise for Sweeney's all-American vibe, argue that the backlash represents overreach by woke critics stifling creativity. Trump's endorsement,